we need to do our best to make sure that whatever door they walk through, whatever group they engage with, understand that there are many different treatment options, so that patients can feel confident that they're walking in and getting treatment that's best for them, not treatment that's best for the provider.
I have not had a drink or drug in nearly 9 years. I was raised the oldest of 3 boys. My brother Todd, who was the middle of the 3 boys at age 28, died of a heroin overdose. About 2.5 years later, in September of 2007, my youngest brother Josh died of a drug overdose. With my brother's deaths, I was the last living child of my parents, which made it all the more difficult for me in late 2011 to tell them that I was struggling with my own addiction to opioids and that I needed to seek treatment.
The treatment of substance use disorder can really be quite different for individuals. The reasons that lead to substance use and harmful substance use are quite variable. So individuals seeking treatment may be referred for any number of different types of therapy, depending on what their individual needs are.
When I started the journey that I'm on today, my view of the recovery world was pretty narrow. Along the way, I was privileged to get an opportunity to work for the Commonwealth as a communications director for the State Department of Drug and Alcohol Programs. I had opportunity to meet many different people, travel across the Commonwealth. I reflected on my family's story. My parents would much rather have my 2 brothers, Todd and Josh, alive today and on a medication that gives them a chance to recover. And so I went from, if you're on Suboxone or methadone, you're not really in recovery, to perhaps one of the strongest proponents of incorporating medication as one of our tools, because we lose far too many people.
My views and my approach to the treatment of addiction and opioid use disorder have absolutely evolved over the course of my career. Early in my career, I carried a lot of the same stigmatized thinking and beliefs that are still really prevalent. And I like to think that evolution in my own personal experience and that progression of thinking helps me to then go and speak to my colleagues, my peers, who are maybe in different stages of that process.
Priority number 1 for me is eliminating the personal bias and the stigma to ensure that the patient gets what is best for the patient. I think for the person who enters the system for the first time, they are relying very heavily, if not exclusively, on the system. And that's what we do when we enter any type of healthcare system, is put our faith and our trust in the experts. We need to be willing to embrace the change that the data and that the evidence and that the lived experience supports. Are we willing to change? It's not lost on me that I am, at least in part, where I am today because my brothers are not here. And I try to carry this message, at least in part, to memorialize my brothers in a positive way. When I'm critical of the treatment system for its stigma against medication, it's purely from a patient-first perspective. Everything that we do should be about making sure that we give that individual the best chance at recovery and really life, because it is life and death.
Recovery starts with a call. Call 1-800-662-HELP or visit battlingopioids.org.